Hey everyone, I wanted to come on here today and do just a quick little informational kind of video about teaching kids to cut. It is a very difficult thing to do. At the beginning of the year, it can be very frustrating. So I wanted to give you some tips as far as cutting. I will tell you that I try to help children cut even if I don't feel like their hands are developmentally ready, because I think that helps them get developmentally ready. But I do have this little chart here that I will send out to everyone. It just shows kind of the stages of being able to hold a pencil and how it goes along with ages. So if your children are really struggling with hand strength, they are going to have trouble holding their pencil correctly or really holding it much at all. I mean, I have some kids that can't even maybe make a mark on the page because they have no hand strength. They're going to have trouble cutting. They're going to have lots of trouble doing those kind of things. And so my primary goal is to build that hand strength up, which is why we have lots and lots of fine motor time in my class. We also have something that Jenny introduced to me. I can't remember. I looked it up under Finger Gym on Pinterest. There's lots of simple activities. This is one of them. It's pencils and girls' tiny little hair clips. I don't know if you can see that very well. And the kids put them all the way down. They love it. They'll do it forever. Very simple stuff, very inexpensive. So that's just one thing that I do. And I do these, and I think Jenny does too, after snack time. So once they've eaten and they have some extra time, they can get a fine motor basket or a Finger Gym. And I usually really only have 2 or 3 out because I only have 2 or 3 at my snack station, sorry. But I do have like 4 pencils in here and several clips, so they can do, they can share it. But those are some of the things that really help build hand strength. However, I do feel like kids who have weak hands still need to practice cutting, still need to practice writing. They can't just do fine motor activities, but they do need more of those. So I want to just show you a couple activities that we do in our class for cutting. First of all, I know that we had kids bring scissors, and we tried them, and we decided that at the beginning of the year, our kiddos need scissors that have a spring in them. So I do have some. If you have kids who are really struggling, we could you could borrow some of mine, or we could get you a couple pairs. You don't need one for everyone in your class, but just like to come to a center. These are very helpful because they don't have to open them, they only have to shut them, and then it automatically pops back open. So if you're watching a kid learn to cut, typically the part that they have the trouble with is opening up the scissors to be big and then cutting. So I do use these, especially at the beginning of the year. And then as they get in better, you can turn off that, which is kind of nice. You can absolutely borrow some of these if you want to try them. I've got, I don't know how many, but I do have enough for you to borrow some. And, it might be something you add to your list of things that you might buy with your Christmas money. So those are my 2 that I like. Another tip that I have done, you can do kind of little things. You could put a smiley face on the top of your scissors, so you can ask your child, do you see your smiley face? I've tried to glue eyeballs on there because I saw that and it doesn't work because they all fall off. But I always tell them we put our thumb in first. So I teach them to put their thumb up, and then we put our thumb on the scissors, okay? So they know the thumb goes in the little hole, and that we practice that quite a bit. And then once that thumb's in the hole, I use 2 fingers in the bottom hole. Some of them want to use these fingers, but if you try to cut like that, it doesn't work. I mean, you have to use your first 2 fingers to have the most control. So I do try to focus on which fingers they put in there. And then when I'm teaching them to cut, I am very hands on them. So this is one of my tables. Oh, that wasn't very good. And I sit right beside them, and I will wrap my hand around them. And as they cut, I will stop the scissors because they just want to go and sometimes push it, I will stop the scissors till they get it positioned, and then they'll cut again, and then they'll open it up, and I kind of put my fingers, I don't cut for them, but I kind of am holding the scissors as they're cutting to show them kind of like the control that they need. I just wanted to show you a few good ideas for practicing cutting. One of the things that I've never met a kid that doesn't love to do this yet is cut straws. When you cut them, they kind of pop all over, so the kids think it's lots of fun. We cut straws. They'll cut all the way down, and then once the center's over, we have them clean them all up because they're everywhere, but they do like that a lot. That's a really good thing to do, and the straw stays still when they're cutting, so it's not super hard for them. It doesn't like droop down, that kind of thing. Another one that we use is I will give them a little piece of construction paper like this, and I usually grab these out of the little scrap thing in the office. I'll give them this paper, and then I'll just give them some little stickers, and I have them put the stickers, peel them off, and put the sticker at the top of the line like that, and then I will have them cut up to the sticker, but we always say, oh, we don't want to cut our SpongeBob or our stars or whatever. So they'll cut just straight up and stop, okay? And it kind of helps give them, and I'll have them put stickers all the way across, and then they start doing that. And this is a simple little thing they can do. I mean, we could do this over and over and over again, and they don't really get bored of this. They like it. Now they might get, as the older ones do, but it's a good little, and it's quick. Like you could do this in a center before you start cutting. Like this is something you could do. And you could, I mean, you wouldn't even have to put their name on it and send it home. I mean, it could just be practice. Another thing I wanted to take you over here and show you is one tip about cutting that's very difficult for some children is that cutting also has to do with the shoulder. And so building up shoulder work is really important too. So I will have the kids sit crisscross applesauce on the floor. I don't know if I can turn my camera around. Hold on. Nope, I can't. Let's see. Can I do this? There we go. So this is just a piece of paper that I've taped to the easel, and I will have them sit right here, start at the lines I drew, and go straight up. And I'll have them do this whole piece of paper. Now, the thing that's cool for them is when they're doing that, they're cutting, but they're also using that vertical lift in their shoulders, which a lot of them don't have. And like this would be something that I would do, and then I just rip it down and throw it away. Like they don't have to take that home or anything, but it's great practice. And sometimes I'll even like line up that on the board, and after, you know, we do one center with cutting, they come over and they need to finish their piece of paper. So those are like a couple little things that are great practice for cutting. The other thing is, if your children like are just starting cutting, I feel like they really need to master cutting straight lines first. Cutting wavy lines is a lot harder. Cutting circles is a lot harder. So to me, I feel like they need to really master that straight line first. Not that they can't ever practice doing the others, but I wouldn't move too far on if someone's really struggling with just the process of cutting. They need to do it straight. So one of the things we do each week is we do this book that we make. We do all kinds of steps. They color, they have to listen, all that kind of stuff. But then I draw one highlighter line so they know that is the yellow line we're going to cut on. Because if I tell them to cut on the line, they typically will start on this line or, you know, wherever. So I draw it in highlighter to help them know where to cut. And then I help them find where to put their holder hand and find where to put their scissors, and then they cut up to the top. And they're so excited to cut it in half. Then after they've cut that and it's all cut in half, I will take my highlighter and I'll highlight the other lines I want them to cut, because it gets very confusing, I think, for them to know where to cut. So this has already been cut, pretend like that's already cut, and now I turn it sideways and they cut right here to make our book. And then we really, in the threes, we really don't do very many curved lines until the end of the year, and I still have some kiddos who never do curved lines. So if you're a 4-year-old teacher and you have kids who've never used scissors, in my opinion, they need to be only used in a center kind of situation where you're with them, because kids that have never used them, even if they've just started using them in the last couple of weeks, I mean, doing them as a large group is very difficult because they don't know how to do it. Most kids who don't know how to cut, they want to shove the scissors kind of thing. When I'm teaching cutting, and Jill can attest to this, I say, open it big, shut, open big, find your line, to put your scissors on, cut. I mean, I must say that open, shut, open, shut. I must say that 100,000 times, but they do, I find them start to say that as well. Open, shut, open, shut. So that is just a few tips about cutting. I was going to try to do it when the kids were here, but I decided that I don't think I could. If I can figure out how to take a video while the kids are here, I'll do that. If you need help with cutting, I'm happy to help you. But just remember, kids can be at all different stages of cutting in your class. So, they might need more assistance, especially at the beginning of the year, especially if they've never gone to preschool. If they're holding the scissors wrong, if they don't have their thumb on top, we also tell them to watch your chicken wing, because sometimes they'll stick their whole arm out, so we call that our chicken wing, and we just try to put it down for them. But I'm doing that, like I'm actually making their body do that as they're cutting. So to me, learning to cut is a very hands-on teaching kind of thing. So, all right, I talked way too long. So, if you have questions, if you need more ideas with the finger gym stuff, Jenny has some great ideas. I have tons of stuff that I can help you with. You can look on Pinterest under finger gym. Most of it is very everyday kinds of activities. I saw in Jenny's room the other day, a little boy had a pool noodle that was maybe this tall. It was cut and it was standing on end, and he was just putting hair ties, like the things you put a ponytail around them. And he, that's great for a kid, and that's totally cheap kinds of stuff to do. Usually it's things we have in our back office. So let me know if I can help you at all, and good luck cutting. Bye.